Welcome back to Zestology. On this podcast, we talk food, nutrition, supplements, environment, and how it all knits together with your focus levels. Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation. So today's podcast is with Lucinda Miller, and we are talking focus and ADHD. We're talking focus levels in adults and kids. We're talking nutrition and supplements and health and wellness and loads of other stuff as well. And Lucinda is quite a powerhouse herself because she runs Nature Doc and Nature Doc Shop. She is the Nature Doc, and she's got so much to say on the subject of energy too, because she went through a period where she had very little energy. Lucinda is a brilliant podcast guest, and in this podcast we do talk quite a bit about focus and what to eat if you want more focus. If you sort of go through the day and you feel like you're having constant spikes and you're constantly gravitating towards the sweet stuff, like me, then today's podcast will help, because she talks about exactly what to eat, whether you're an adult or a child, at various times of the day to maintain your attention levels and your focus levels. There's a lot of other stuff in here as well, and it's just a real pleasure to talk to the Nature Doc. So here is Lucinda Miller on Zestology. Lucinda, we're recording. How are you doing?
Very good. Lovely to see you, Tony.
Yeah, lovely to see you too. I've got a long laundry list of questions for you, but I want to start with a thank you, because when we chatted, we almost recorded last time, didn't we? But my Zoom wasn't working.
That's right.
But I did say, while you're there, can I just ask a quick question? And you recommended a children's multivitamin for me. And it has been absolutely fantastic. And it's coincided with this incredible spurt in my gorgeous 3-year-old's sort of physical health, but also mental well-being. He's so much happier. He's sleeping better. I don't know if it's that or not, but thank you, because something's working and it seems to be brilliant.
Well, it's either that or the amazing sunshine we've just had and your lovely holiday. So who knows? But let's hope it carries on working. That's great news.
It really was. And I've sort of long thought that, I wanted to have a recommendation for a supplement for him and look a bit more closely at his nutrition, because it is easy to lapse into giving him the things he likes eating.
Of course.
And
kids.
Sometimes hydration is necessary, whether it's a sugary apple juice or not.
Sure.
So that was a good recommendation. You do a lot with kids, don't you?
Yes, so that's my primary work. So I've got 3 kids myself, and they all had sort of little niggles that we had to sort out when they were tiny, which has made a massive difference to their long-term trajectory. They're now sort of teenagers and beyond, and they're all really happy, shiny kids, doing very well, and pretty robust. They don't get colds and coughs very easily. One has a little bit of hay fever, but the others don't seem to have any allergies or eczema or asthma. And that's a big thing that's always been in both my husband and my side of the family. So either they just got it lucky with genetics, or something has helped along the way. And my eldest is, when he was young, he was very dyspraxic and ADD. And that's really where I got very interested in how to support children in terms of their mental well-being and their neurodevelopment, as well as their physical health. So that's been a fascinating journey. So that's really what Nature Doc's become. So we've now a team of 20 practitioners dotted around the country. And we specialize in, I guess, the 3 kind of sort of main categories are women's health, children's health, primarily, babies and toddlers, and then the neurodevelopmental side of things. And then over the last couple of years, we've been terribly busy with long COVID.
and associated histamine intolerance issues as well.
Exactly. And mast cell activation and all the things that come along with that. Because, you know, over the years, we've looked after an awful lot of people with post-viral illness. And therefore, you know, we obviously had to work out what the heck COVID was doing to people. But once we got a grasp of it, we kind of had we were pretty confident with the tools in our toolbox, put it that way.
Yeah, this podcast. Sorry, Kate, carry on.
Yeah, we've been able to develop, you know, the way we've been able to test people and support people with their nutrition and getting those right supplements in and so forth. And I can't say we've got all the answers, no one does, but we're helping a lot of people to get a long way along, you know, switching the dial up so that they are in a better, stronger place and need less scaffolding to basically keep them getting through the day.
That's brilliant. So you're finding you're having really, really good success rate with it then?
I think so. I think it's amazing. I just am blown away that we get this amazing feedback relatively quickly. You know, I bumped into a parent just a few weeks ago at a party and we were chatting about her 23-year-old daughter. And she said she's got terrible long COVID. We've done loads of stuff. And I said, well, send her all the information. So sent me over and I thought, there's some missing pieces in the puzzle here. So I said, look, I'm going on holiday, try these few things. And I got an email from her yesterday saying she is so much more energized. She's so much stronger. You know, she's not there yet, but, you know, that's only been 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. So over time, I'm really hoping that she will get in a better place. But yeah, so that's what we do at Nature Doc.
Brilliant. Yeah. This podcast came about because I had post-viral symptoms, which kept me pretty much in bed for 3 months. And they, you know, I mean, it was quite severe, but actually a lot of similarities to long COVID. You know, I mean, the post-viral thing is what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, what happens is, you know, we do this amazing test called a metabolomics, which is a urine test, and it checks for about 80 different markers of kind of inflammation, nutrients, gut health, etc. It's a really comprehensive test. And I would say at least 95% and probably close to 100% of those that we've tested has had something called significant oxidative stress. We all know that what happens is when you have a virus, your body goes into this inflammatory mode. We've heard of this cytokine storm everyone's talking about with COVID. But what does the cytokine storm do? It causes damage to the cells. And it's that damage which is known as oxidative stress. And that's where nutrition can really, really help to repair that damage over time. Whereas there's not any medications, as far as I'm aware, that can do that. It's kind of time is given rather than anything else. And yeah, getting a really nutrient-dense diet in and lots of amazing polyphenols to kind of repair those cells is so important.
You mentioned ADHD. I'm reading Stolen Focus at the moment by Johan Hari.
Oh my goodness, he's an amazing writer. Love him. Yes, he was talking about, I think it was a godson.
Yeah.
He'd been booted out of school for basically being disruptive and essentially kind of, I think the diagnosis was ADD. And they went off to Elvis Presley's house, didn't they? They went home alone.
Yeah.
And he couldn't keep off his phone. He couldn't keep off. And so phones have a big play, you know, a big player in all of this. You know, it's the distraction. It just really, you know, that distracted mind just loves the speediness of the way a phone works and all the different social media and everything. And it's pretty addictive. So that's one of his big passions, is the whole addiction of screens and so forth. But there's so much more. And from
he talks about nutrition quite a bit as well, actually, as well as environmental stuff. And I'm really interested because it actually is very relevant to adults as well as kids.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, so many, what we're finding is masses of parents are having their kids diagnosed because school have flagged up issues. And then they've read up and they've gone, oh my God, that's me. So they kind of then ask the psychiatrist, you know, to go through, you know, all the criteria. Then they go, yep, you've got it too.
Oh my goodness.
And it seems to be, it is the pandemic to me. ADHD is the pandemic. It's just huge because our lives are all super fast. We have no time to concentrate. We're, you know, our brains are so buzzed up with, you know, it's the music from those reels on TikTok. It's the you know, TikTok's
the worst. I can feel my addictive tendencies coming out just watching TikTok for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely, it's huge. It's really huge. And you think, oh yeah, just going to watch it for one more minute. No, 20 minutes later, you're just still drawn in there. So there's, I just think, yes, screens play a massive role, but nutrition is huge. And I think and this is why I try and blog quite a lot about this and sort of write about this, because I just kind of think it's easier to explain it in long form. But there are many different metabolic drivers of ADHD, and one of them is histamine. And that is one of the key ones that when you start putting in things like quercetin, vitamin C, magnesium, these kids calm down. And the parents are thinking they're treating the rashes, the allergies, the hay fever, but they then notice that they're so much less distractible and they're more focused. And there's a huge amount of research into these specific, they're called OCPs, which help to dial down that ADHD, because it's a very speedy brain. If you think histamine speeds up the system, it's very, so allergies are a very fast, inflamed system. So if it all gets calmed down, then the brain will be calmed down at the same time. Yeah.
So, I mean, thinking about, I've got a very sweet tooth and I've got a feeling I'm not going to like what you're about to say, but I've been loving this book, Stolen Focus, and it's resonated with me in a lot of ways. And I've worked hard on my own screen time with varying levels of success, but I know that I'm at my best when I'm, just switched off and enjoying downtime and recharging. But what is the best diet for me to enhance my focus? I'm writing a book at the moment. I know as a child I had real severe, bad attention problems. What should I be eating to enjoy the best levels of focus? And what should everybody be eating, whether they're kids or adults?
So I think I'm all about including extra foods rather than taking them away. So there are a lot of people say, can't eat gluten, can't eat dairy, can't eat sugar. And that is so not our approach at all, because occasionally someone is gluten intolerant, dairy intolerant, whatever, and you have to manage that. But I think it's all about balancing blood sugars. So it's all about your sugar spikes, your glucose spikes post eating. So if you eat food that shoots your blood sugars really sky high, you're going to feel quite hyper and probably quite energized. And then you're going to get a big fat crash quite quickly. And that's where you're going to become unfocused. You're probably going to get a bit ratty. You might be looking for the biscuit or, the jelly baby or whatever it is to pick yourself up. But that's not going to make you feel that great, but it's going to help a bit. So a lot of people go through this massive yo-yo all day of blood sugar highs and lows. And that is part of how someone's brain might present as ADHD, even if they're not. So what I say is you start the day with a really high protein, high fat meal. So as an adult, that's easy. You could have scrambled egg with lots of butter, some avocado, maybe some smoked salmon, or even if you do go for like a porridge, you could just make sure that you've got lots of peanut butter in there. I think chocolate is epic. I think dark chocolate is one of the best brain foods ever. So I encourage, lots of my recipes have chocolate in them for breakfast. The French live off chocolate for breakfast. Yeah. And they do pretty well. So they don't actually have ADHD. Yeah.
They just have a great life, don't they? Yeah. 10 weeks of holiday and lots of chocolate. I mean, it's just brilliant. I might be oversimplifying the holiday section of that, but...
But there's very few kids with ADHD in France.
Really?
Very interesting, yeah.
Wow. And what is that? Just prioritizing the simpler things in life and good diet?
I think there's a lot of that, yes. But so I think getting breakfast right is key. And that's okay as an adult if you're not that hungry first thing in the morning, because some people aren't. It's just not their thing. Is to have it at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, like a brunch. That's okay. But that first meal of the day to be supercharged. I tend to now, I found my sort of best thing is I actually have sheep's yogurt rather than normal yogurt, but I can have normal yogurt, but it's better for me. It just feels better.
Yeah.
And I have loads of things like flax seeds, and I have lots of berries, and I have lots of cocoa nibs and goji berries and pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and so forth. And that seems to, and then I have 3 or 4 pieces of dark chocolate, because that is lovely. My kind of gives me my superpower.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Day. But, everyone's different. It's basically finding something that is going to sustain you for about 4 hours. So if you're starting to look for snacks, feeling a bit sort of ratty, it means that you haven't got it right the meal before, and to think, what could I have added in to have made that more sustainable? Some people, it could be a smoothie with lots of protein powder in it or something like that. So we all work in different ways.
Yeah.
And then try and get, again, lunch, a balanced meal rather than pasta. You could have pasta but with bolognese, or you have a piece of salmon and some salad, but not just salad. Or lots of feta cheese or something like that. This is as adults. And with kiddos, they'd probably want a sandwich or like a wrap or something, but you'd make sure there's ham and cheese in there, or a big egg and cheese, or something really filling. And then in the evening, most people have a pretty good family meal, so that's and then when you are needing snacks, is to think, let's get something that has got not just carb, like breadsticks and raisins and fruit, which everyone sort of thinks is the healthy ones, is to say, yeah, of course, have some apple, but have some peanut butter with it, or some cream cheese, or some hummus. So you've got that balance of fat, protein and carb together. There's a brilliant lady called Glucose Goddess, and she
I'm following her, and I've got her book as well. Very good. She's
amazing. She's suddenly gone to almost 1 million followers,
Has she?
We've got the same publisher, and she's just gone join. You're
next, Lucinda.
I don't think so. I write about kids' health. It's not quite so cool. And she talks about putting clothes on your carbs, and I love that expression. It's just like, do eat carbs. It's okay to eat a piece of cake. It's okay to, have a biscuit, but maybe not all on its own. And the difference, she does these brilliant charts, and you can see the difference between eating a pear on its own and eating a pear with some peanut butter. And it's like a massive difference. Like your blood sugars just are much more even. And you can just see that energy and focus and everything's going to be so much better.
Yeah, we've approached her for a podcast interview, actually. I hope we get to do it, because one of her tips that I've tried is having some apple cider vinegar before eating, which blunts the blood sugar response, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't say I felt a massive difference, but I quite like the theory of it anyway.
Yeah, sadly, with my sort of slight histamine issues, I can have a bit of apple cider vinegar, but that's just too much.
Right.
For me, but I can have some on a salad, so it would be fine as a dressing. So I try and do that a bit. And I think the idea of eating your veg, then your protein, and then finally your carb at the end of the meal is another easy idea if that's the way your meal's structured,
Yeah, if that floats your boat. It's a bit weird eating your veggies first, but that's, yeah. Interrupting this podcast for one moment to tell you about my podcast partner this month, which is the wonderful, the majestic Magnesium Breakthrough. This month focusing on the number one health problem people from all over the world are facing. Do you know what it is? Well, it's actually sleep, because sleep is like the master hack. It affects everything. And the majority of people are lacking energy throughout the day. And that is often a symptom of a bigger picture, which is not getting enough sleep. Poor sleep can affect your mood, hormones, weight gain, many other factors negatively impacting you. And one of the ways to get over it is by taking Magnesium Breakthrough. The other one is by going to bed earlier and changing your evening routine. The sort of thing that we talk about a lot on Zestology. But Magnesium Breakthrough is something that I take every evening. What I do is about 9 o'clock, I have a little pot around and I get some supplements together. And one of them is, I don't even know how to say it properly, but it's Saccharomyces boulardii. I really like that for my stomach. And the other one is Magnesium Breakthrough that helps me sleep. The other day, I didn't sleep very well. And I woke up in the morning, I loudly complained to my wife that I didn't sleep well. And I came downstairs, and the supplements that I put out the night before were still on the kitchen table. So I'd forgotten to take them. And that's probably why I didn't sleep very well. For a limited time, Magnesium Breakthrough have a special offer. They are offering additional bonus gifts for the next 1,000 customers, or while supplies last. And so if you order Magnesium Breakthrough by going to magbreakthrough.com/zestology, you'll get 3 bottles of their full line of digestive health products. So you get quite a lot of free stuff. So this is definitely a deal worth doing. You will get, I'll tell you what we'll get. You'll get Masszymes, their digestive enzymes, another product I love. You'll get a patented probiotic, P3OM. and their HCl product as well to alleviate heartburn and acid reflux. I don't get heartburn, but people who do love that product as well. So go to magbreakthrough.com/zestology and get a load of free stuff as well. I know they're quite excited about this offer. The people at Bioptimizers and Magnesium Breakthrough have been messaging me this month saying we're very excited about this. So make sure you get it before you're too late. Excellent deal. And I will speak to you more about this at the end of the podcast. But now, back to the show. You said with your slight histamine issues, this is why histamine intolerance is literally like you have to try everything for yourself, because you were talking about dark chocolate and smoked salmon then, and I was thinking, I couldn't eat that, but I can tolerate the apple cider vinegar absolutely fine. So we're all different on that.
We are all different. Yeah. I'm afraid chocolate has made such a difference. I've got Hashimoto's, I've had chronic fatigue, and there was a study on dark chocolate and how it helps a group of people get over chronic fatigue. And it was quite a lot. It was like 100 grams a day or something. So a heck of a lot. And I thought, I'm going to give this a go. And I felt absolutely brilliant. So I've been rather kind of addicted. Great. And even through my worst histamine issues, I just take another couple of quercetin and eat my chocolate.
Brilliant.
Or took a DAO or something, because I just had to, I just couldn't.
Yeah. You mentioned yogurt. Have you tried this Nush yogurt? NUSH?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's one of the best ones out
I think
there.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you approved.
They're a great company.
Yeah.
There's some just really amazing companies out there who are producing some, I don't like the word clean food, but it does sort of, resonate. It's like, where there are very few ingredients.
Yeah.
It tastes yummy. It's convenient and it's nourishing, and it's got good, some, as I said, nutrient dense ingredients in there. And that's one of them, which is great. Whereas there are so many foods out there that are super ultra processed, got no zinc, no calcium, no iron, no omega-3, none of the good brain foods in there at all. And those, so it's very hard to navigate it. And I think, over time, you do learn the good things. I mean, like those merchant gourmet pouches of lentils and things like that. Brilliant, just to have those just as a last minute. I prefer to cook quinoa myself, but occasionally, it's good to have a pouch. So there are some good foods out there.
Yeah. And just bringing it back to focus for a second. Yes. This isn't really nutrition based, but you mentioned you had teenagers and beyond. In terms of TikTok, I'm just really interested to know how you've sort of navigated focus around screens and technology as well as nutrition over your parenting years.
Yeah, it's super hard. We did take the lead from the school quite a lot, and therefore if they were putting in measures, then we would do the same. So I think we were a bit too hard on the screen time. I'm going to say probably a little bit. It's probably for a bit too long. That's what I'm saying. It was probably should have been. But yeah, one's 21, one's 19, and one's 14. So, and I would say that as far as I'm aware, they've got a pretty good relationship with social media itself. I would say they're on the screens too much, as in the boys especially are quite IT. They both love programming. And so I think I don't like the way they're on screens, but I know they're not doing the silly stuff, if you see what I mean. So they're doing constructive.
Yeah.
My daughter's more into the TikTok, more into Snapchat and all of that. But what's interesting is she has, she gets excited because she occasionally will spot a TikTok celeb on the street. So she actually does relate them with real people, So
Great. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a funny old world, but I just think, we definitely had phones downstairs, shut off at 9 o'clock. We had those sort of rules, which I think were really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's so hard for parents who are sort of navigating all these emerging technologies as they happen with not very much help. And you wonder in 10 years, will it be easier? Will there be a little bit more around helping parents navigate that, or will it be harder? Probably harder.
I think much harder.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I've got that to look forward to.
I know yours is only 3. We didn't do phones till they were 13.
Right.
But I think some kids get phones a little bit earlier, especially if they're going on school buses and things like that at 11. But I just don't think there's any reason for a child to have an actual phone before they're going on a public bus to and from school. Unless they have a specific health condition like a diabetes or something where they need to,
I've been reading your site about your own issues with energy, and I'm interested, we've been talking about focus quite a bit. And one of the things that's popped up in this book is the research around exercise and focus. And I certainly find that moderate to intense exercise, and lots of it, really helps me more with mood actually than focus. Is that one of the things that you look at in terms of your clients? We've spoken to Dale Bredesen a couple of times on this podcast.
Oh, Dale's amazing. He's an amazing guy.
He really is. And he's done a lot of research around how, it really helps you potentially live longer and ward off degenerative brain disease like Alzheimer's if you do moderate exercise. And it helps people who have already been diagnosed with these diseases to actually potentially stop it from growing or even shrinking. So what do you think about exercise, and how do you look at that with your clients?
I think generally the clients that come to see us are trying really hard to get that balance. They often come to see us eating a pretty good diet. They, do exercise, but they've hit a wall. So they've sort of ticked all the boxes. They're trying to sleep better. But they just still can't sleep, or they are getting injuries from exercise, or there's, they're feeling absolutely wiped out having done exercise. So do you know what I mean? So they're trying, but sometimes there's, as I said, a block. I think it's really important to exercise. Some people over exercise, and it's interesting how many, quite serious athletes have succumbed to long COVID. And there's a whole sort of debate over whether it's the NAD, which is the B3 kind of pathways, whether that's been affected by over exercise, etc. And interestingly, I guess we work a lot with menopausal women, and sometimes their knees are going, they just can't do that physical exercise anymore, but they can do weight training, they can do yoga. And I think it's more about movement more than being able to do an ultramarathon.
Absolutely. We do all our meetings as walking meetings. And I had an hour-long walking meeting today, and I really enjoyed it because I was just moving about. I was in the park, just strolling around with an umbrella as well. First rain in months. I know.
It's extraordinary. Yeah. But that's what I often do when I'm interviewing a new practitioner or whatever it might be. I get my earpods in, and I just get my wellies on or whatever it is, and just go play. Just talk and talk and talk. But I can't do my consultations walking, sadly, because I've got lots of typing to do.
And how do you achieve balance? Because you've obviously got a lot going on. You're an author, and you run a successful company, and you've got 3 kids. I mean, that's a lot to be going on with. I'm very interested to have some balance tips.
I think it's easier when they get older, I promise you.
Good.
I have an amazing husband who I work with. So he does an awful lot of work for Nature Doc. He does the IT, he does the finances, he does the legal stuff. We run this online shop selling vitamins and supplements and water bottles and stuff. So he mainly runs that. So it's not just me. We have kids who are generally very well. They actually are keen to earn some pocket money. So, like in the lockdowns, they were packing boxes, sending out vitamins. They were doing all that for us.
Fantastic.
So I guess we kind of...
That is balance right there. Brilliant.
You know what I mean?
Put them to work.
Yeah, but we do pay them. But, they do the washing up. It's not like, we're not slave drivers, but I think we work quite well as a family. And I, to be honest, I probably don't have, in some people's book, perfect balance, but I adore what I do. So I wake up in the morning with my brain just going, because I'm quite ADD, boing, I've got lots I want to do in the day. And so it's just like, I just want there are just too many kids struggling these days. And it really upsets me. Just having one conversation with someone on holiday will trigger me to over days overthink how the heck, why is that child that I've known since they were 3 now in this situation? Why didn't I, you know what I mean? You're thinking, why? So I think that's really where I'm from is, I probably don't have, an ideal balance, but I love what I do. And I don't get too tired. Occasionally I do, but I don't get too tired. I love what I do. I adore my kids. I do some yoga. I do lots of walks. I eat really well. And I, sleep pretty well. You know what I mean? I've got it. But over the years, I've not had that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, when my daughter was born, I didn't sleep for 2 years. She slept. I didn't. I was wired. So, and that got me into all sorts of bits and pieces. So, I have had times over the years, but as I said, it's just getting easier now as they're getting older. So just, keep yourself strong, put in all, do all the things that you know about, like getting enough sleep, keeping hydrated, doing enough exercise, eating well. And, your little one will be at school before you can blink. And then, it just all comes together. It just does. Just works itself out.
Yeah, definitely. The sleep in the younger years, but then I guess there's more emotional stuff as they grow. Now, listen, before we go, I've got 2 questions. I didn't pre-warn you about these questions, but I'm confident that you'll be very good at them. One is, what is one book that you would recommend? And the other one is, what is one tip for living with more energy and vitality?
So, book I just can't put down, as in it's always by my bed, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Oh, brilliant. Love it. I just love it. And even though, he's a bloke and he's into baseball and all the things that I haven't a clue, I still can really relate to him. So I love his book. I just kind of, then the next day, suddenly I am sorting out some, I get really motivated by his writing and his newsletters. And then what was the second question? What is one tip for living with more energy and vitality? Keep your blood sugars balanced over the day. It's massive. If you can get that right, a good blood sugar balance day is an amazing day. Absolutely, it is. Lucinda, it's been so good to talk to you. Thank you so much. Oh, Tony, it's been brilliant. Yeah, where can people find out more about you and everything that you do, and Nature Doc as well? So our 2 websites are naturedoc.co.uk and naturedoc shop. And then I'm on Instagram as naturedoc kids. And then I'm also on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that as well. TikTok? And on TikTok as well. I hope you are getting the kids to do the content. Yeah, well, I'm learning. I'm not brilliant, but I'm getting there. I don't think I've probably got it quite right, but I'm just me. I've just got to be me. Good. Be authentic. Brilliant. All right. Well, look, thank you so much, Lucinda. We'll speak again soon. I really enjoyed that chat. Bye, Tony. Thanks for listening to Zestology, and thank you to Lucinda for coming on. And I did mention that Lucinda recommended a children's multivitamin for my son. And if you're interested in it, you can go to naturedoc.shop and look up Baba West Children's Multivitamin and Multibiotic Berry Flavour Powder. And the reason I'm doing this is because I know I'm going to get quite a few messages from people saying, what was that multivitamin all about? So we just call it strawberry sprinkles with my son, and he has it on his breakfast every morning and he loves it. But it's vitamins, minerals, friendly microflora, Baba West Children's Multivitamin and Multibiotic Berry Flavour Powder. It is what you might describe as reassuringly expensive, but definitely worth it, I think. That is it for this week's podcast. As always, thank you to my partners, Magnesium Breakthrough. And if you want to get involved, you can go to magbreakthrough.com/zestology. There you will find all the details around why Magnesium Breakthrough is so good, plus a load of free stuff as well. So there's an excellent
Magnesium Breakthrough offer for August. And if you want to go to magbreakthrough.com/zestology, you can save up to 42% on Magnesium Breakthrough. Remember, use the code Zestology10 whenever you're using any Bioptimizers products or getting involved with Bioptimizers products. But Magnesium Breakthrough is brilliant for stress and worry, sleeplessness, low mood, and the topic of this podcast, memory issues as well. And I've really found that is one of the supplements that I take almost every day. We just went on holiday, and it was one of the supplements that came away with me on my pared down list of supplements. That is how good it is. magbreakthrough.com/zestology. If you're in the UK, use the code Zestology10 on the UK site as well. That will work too. And on that site, magbreakthrough.com/zestology, there's loads of testimonials and everything else. Make sure you check out Nature Doc as well, because there's so many good supplements on there, and that Baba West one is excellent too, I think. And that's it for this week's podcast. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to sign up for my weekly, not quite weekly, fortnightly, it comes when I'm ready, newsletter, then you can go to tonywrighton.com, and I will speak to you next time.